This video is all about getting different NPCs to join the party in your starter set campaign. And yes, that means we'll finally get an answer about what it will take to get the all-powerful dragon Runara to actually lift a finger to solve the problems on Stormwreck Isle. So there are three things you've got to consider when deciding whether an NPC would be a good party member. The first is, what would it take for the players to convince this person to join the party? The second is, what would it take for this person to decide to leave the party after they've joined? And the third thing is, how does this NPC behave in combat? Unfortunately, that does mean that I'm lumping you, dear Dungeon Master, with the responsibility of deciding how to roleplay these NPCs. However, I have heard that you in particular are an incredible Dungeon Master, so don't even worry about it. You're going to be fine. Keep it up. You can probably tell when I talk about NPCs joining and leaving the party that my intent is for these characters to cycle in and out of the party. They're seasonal, you know, they're limited edition, like those Cadbury cream eggs. They're so good. Do you guys have these in whatever country you're in? These are incredible in Australia, and they're only around for like 3 months. But that third point is something you need to pay attention to right now, because you need to decide how you're going to incorporate these NPC allies into the party mechanically. I mean, there have been a few solutions as far as this goes in D&D, but I have thought overwhelmingly they have been underwhelming. I mean, what tools do we have as Dungeon Masters to do this other than just adding like another character sheet, which doesn't feel right for an NPC ally? And none of the books have done a really good job at dealing with this so far. Not now, Curse of Strahd. I'm filming a video. Ooh, actually, wait. No, yes, that's a good point. And don't worry, I promise we're going to turn this back to Stormwreck Isle. But Curse of Strahd is one of the best adventures that Dungeons & Dragons has ever published, as far as 5th edition goes. Now, in this adventure, right at the start, the players get their fortune told by Madame Eva. She pulls out a bunch of tarot cards and does the whole flipping up thing. You've revealed my trap card, death. Now, this reading determines a bunch of RNG elements throughout the adventure, like the locations of certain characters, certain items, and also the identity of somebody destined to join the party, the name of Strahd's enemy. Now, this character will join the party. That's the reading. If you meet this character, they are predisposed to joining the party. However, there are going to be other characters the players meet on their adventure that potentially could have been an NPC ally. And it doesn't really matter how good of friends they become with this character, they're not the one destined to help them defeat Strahd. And that feels like a shame. I want my players to engage with the NPCs and form relationships with them and invite them along. That's good. That tells me that my players are paying attention, and I like that a lot. But there's also another system as I face away from the camera in a very engaging move. In this book, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, you'll find the sidekick rules. Now, these are really handy if you only have 1 or 2 players at your table, and that's just not enough to have like a robust party composition that really tests out the mechanics of 5th edition. However, if you have a party of 4 players or a party of 5 players or more, you mad lad, then I think adding an extra sidekick is a bit cumbersome for the pace of the game, which is why I suggest you use the battle companion system. You don't know what that is, right? Which book is that from, Matt? It's not from any. I made it up, okay? There's a video about it here, bonk, and it's also available on Patreon. But here are the cliff notes about it. 1. Regardless of how many battle companions have joined the party, there's only 1 active in combat at a time. 2. The battle companion's only function is to do one rad thing every turn, then move on, keep it moving. 3. You don't do any battle bookkeeping with the battle companion. You don't track their HP, their movement, they can't be targeted by attacks. They're like a passive effect on the battlefield that the party brings along with them. But now, let's talk about Stormwreck Isle NPCs and how they could join the party. I'll just put this back on the shelf. Now, I've seen this question come up a lot about Runara, because in the module, she's meant to be a big dragon, like way tougher than literally anything else on the island. Strong enough where she should be able to solve all the island's problems by herself. And the question that people ask is, why doesn't Runara just do it? Why are the players doing it? She could just do it herself, and like it would take her 10 minutes to just breathe fire on the whole place. That's a great question. Which is why I always suggest don't make Runara secretly a dragon. Just have her be a regular old lady. But this advice that I'm giving you here could apply whether she's actually a dragon or she's not a dragon. In order for the party to recruit Runara to their side, they would have to have met Lord Aidron already out in the wilderness somewhere. Then, one of the players would earnestly have to convert to Runara's religion, to the point of multi-classing as a paladin or as a cleric or whatever other holy flavor of the other classes, but dedicated to the good dragon. I've forgotten his name. What is he? Bahamut. To Bahamut. But that conversion also entails an acceptance of Runara's non-aggressive viewpoints, her philosophy that you can defend yourself, but you can't aggress on others. And the party would need to convince Runara that their goal in confronting Sparkrender isn't to kill and defeat him. Instead, it's to parley with him and find some non-violent solution to this whole problem. And you're probably clear about why she would leave the party. If she saw the party ever doing something aggressive and violent when it's not necessary, then she would leave the party. Because, she's okay with people not having her way of life. She's patient, right? But the fact that the party would recruit her and then make her complicit in that violence, that kind of corrupts her own ideals and her own relationship with her beliefs. And mate, that's just rude. In combat as a battle companion, either in dragon form or in human form, Runara can help with repulsive force. In dragon form, I want you to imagine Runara flying high above the battlefield, flap, 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 she's a big seagull, and she does a big flap and hits everybody with a wind blast. And then in human form, she has the same ability, but we're just going to flavor it like a spell. Why not? Tarak is the ex-rogue at Dragon's Rest. His main characteristic as a person is his kindness, and he is the cook, the fisherman, and the gardener at Dragon's Rest. And no, I'm not talking about RuneScape. I'm talking about Dungeons and Dragons. And why can I get away with making RuneScape jokes? Look at my age demographics of this channel. You love RuneScape. Why would Tarak join the party? Well, it's easy because he has a quest that he needs completed. He needs the party to go to the Seagrow Caves, so he's all too happy to tag along. However, if the party has been cruel at all to the Kobolds of Dragon's Rest during their stay, maybe kicking them down the stairs or teaching them basic math incorrectly, then Tarak may require a persuasion check from the party in order to get him into the group. Why would Tarak decide to leave the party? Now, this first point I'm only going to mention once, but it does apply to every single one of these NPCs, and it should apply to every NPC in your game. If the party is cruel to Tarak, if they mock him, if they don't like him, if they treat him like a burden, he doesn't need that. He doesn't need to be there. He's got other stuff to do, He'll just leave. Don't let your player characters just decide to be cruel to these characters because the players don't see them as people. That's not appropriate. Let me give you a really good example. You, right now, say an insult at the screen. Insult me verbally, say it. Oh, you've insulted me, huh? Oh no, look, the video's over. He's disappeared. Just kidding, I was on the floor the whole time. Oh, my back. Oh God. The other two reasons that Tarak might leave the party is if they complete his quest at the Seagrow Caves, or if when they're at the Seagrow Caves, if the party kills any of the Myconids. Look, Tarak sees them as his friends, and he would find that unacceptable, and he would immediately leave the party. In combat, as a battle companion, Tarak would have the botanical toxin ability, where he slides and stealths throughout the combat, applying poison to his allies' weapons. Now, you can get this battle companion system on Patreon right now for $6, and they all come up with this little handout that you can give to the players when they're controlling the battle companion in combat. Varnoth is the ex-mercenary general at Dragon's Rest. She has a leg of wood and a heart of steel, and she is ready to whip your players into shape. Now, like Tarak, she has a quest. She says, party, please go to the Compass Rose and deal with the fact that you have brought zombies to this island, as she pronounced island. And she could accompany the players on that quest. Easy peasy. Same as Tarak though, if the players have been cruel to the Kobolds, she may require a persuasion check. Why would Varnoth leave the party though? Well, I think that she would leave the party if they completed her Compass Rose quest, because then it's job done, make room for somebody else to join the party. But she would also leave, and this one's a bit weird, she would also leave the party if they destroy Mex Min. Mex Min, the flying kobolds who are a little bit bumbling, a little bit useless. Varnoth would see it as dishonorable to vanquish a very weak foe. right? And she does not want to be around that anymore. She's already been a ruthless mercenary captain. She's done with the cruelty in her life, and she would leave the party. In combat, Varnoth has the "Hey, get serious" ability, which lets her bark commands like an angry bard at the party to really whip them into shape and make sure they hit their attacks. Let's start with the Kobolds. Matt, what do you mean the Kobolds? All the Kobolds? Yes. Yes, I do. Because at Dragon's Rest, there are 7 Kobolds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Myla is one of them, and then the other 6 we are basing off the 7 dwarves. Just give them names like Sneezy, Dopey, Lazy, Stupid, Unemployed. What are their names? But it's those 6 named kobolds with stupid names that are the ones I'm suggesting can join the party. And they are just a gaggle that you treat as a single unit. Why would these kobolds join the party? There are 2 prerequisites. One is that the party needs to be very nice to them. They have to play with them, be kind to them, be patient to them, like engage with them in a friendly way. The second thing is the kobolds have a lot of chores to do around Dragon Cloister. They have to do things like clean the underpants, mend things. What are chores? Sweep. They got to sweep. So what I'm suggesting you do is you literally put on that song that they played in basketball, you know, the "Why Can't We Be Friends? Why Can't We Be Friends?" You know, the buddy buddy song. And then do a montage around the table and have your players describe them palling around with the kobolds, just cleaning things and people falling down and them going, ha 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 ha, you know, just wholesome fun. Why would the kobolds leave the party? For one, they would leave if the party ever encountered Lord Aidron, because he's been missing out there, injured in the forest somewhere, and as soon as they see Lord Aidron, they would want to run and tell their leader, Runara, where he is. They would also leave if the players ever directly went to engage in a fight with Sparkrender, the blue dragon. As these lesser dragon king, they revere and deify dragons, and I don't think they would attack them. As battle companions, the kobolds have my favorite ability called Cloud of Chaos. I want you to imagine one of those cartoon ball of fists and feet and dust and stuff that just rolls around like a tumbleweed. That's what they do on the battlefield. They just collect things in this cloud of chaos. It's great. Myla the kobold is the de facto leader of them. She's the most responsible. She's the smartest. She's actually an inventor. She's got wings, except they have holes in them because her brothers betrayed her. Oh my god, there's so much backstory for this kobold. I'm out of breath. Anyway, she's a kobold. It's actually pretty simple to get her to join the party, but she's also prone to leaving the party. So she would only join the party if they have a good relationship with Tarak, because Tarak and Myla are good friends. When it comes to leaving the party, though, she has some guilt about making a weapon that her 2 brothers stole. She didn't intend to make a weapon, but it does go against the teachings of their cloister to make a weapon like that, and she's conflicted. So she would leave the party if they ever even inquired about, "Hey Myla, can you upgrade our weapon? Or can you invent a weapon for us?" Because that would tell her that, oh, okay, these people are going to be a bad influence on me. She'd also leave the party if the players killed Mex and/or Min, because those are her bros, and she would feel very sad and go back home. In combat, Myla has used her expertise to create this kind of spring lock golem that winds up and then jumps in front of attacks to protect people. It's cute. Lord Aidron, the bronze dragon wormling that is missing and injured out there in the woods someplace. So why would he join the party? Now, it should be a little bit difficult for the party to get Lord Aidron on side and get him to team up with them, because although he is friendly to them, he's headstrong. He's impulsive, and if they make an argument like, "Together we can surely defeat this blue dragon," then he's definitely not going to join, because he wants to defeat Sparkrender by himself. He's strong enough, he's perfectly capable, he can do it, he don't need no help. However, if they kind of humble themselves before him and present a case like, "No, but we need someone strong like you to protect us as we adventure out there," then he's more receptive to that, and then the players can make their persuasion check. There's a few reasons why Lord Aidron would leave the party though, because for one, he never wants to go back to Dragon's Rest until he's defeated Sparkrender. So if the party goes there, then he goes, "Nope," and he just bounces, baby. But also, he's got this real headstrong personality, and if there's ever a moment when the party reprimands him for something, ooh, he hates being told what to do. That's what Runara does to him. That's why he left. He doesn't want to be told what to do. He's a dragon. So he goes, nah, I'm peacing out. Peace, 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 bye. And as a battle companion in combat, Lord Aidron uses his breath weapon with an ability called Shock Line, which just kind of blasts lightning that bounces around. Abel the Myconid. This is an original character we added in our guide. His name's Abel and he's a Myconid. That's what he is. Right, so why would he join the party? The only way that he would join the party is if the party did not kill the Spore Servant octopus. If they let it live or they didn't encounter it, then he trusts them enough to fight alongside them. But if they killed his good friend the octopus, then he has his reservations. Being sunlight sensitive, he would leave the party if they ever needed to adventure during the daytime. But if they're adventuring during the night, hey, he's down to clown. And in combat, he uses his ability called Evasive Spores, which takes his telekinetic spores, shoots them over the party so that they have a little bit of a precog situation going on and they can anticipate the opponent's actions. Mex Min, these are the blue kobolds who defected from Lord Aidron's service in favor of Sparkrender. Now they are also Myla the Inventor's brothers, and they stole her invention, which is what they use in combat. The only way that Mex and Min would deign to join the party is if the party already has Myla on their team, and then the party can attempt a persuasion or intimidation check or whatever charisma you want to try and get them to defect from Sparkrender, because once a turncoat, always a turncoat. When it comes to deciding whether Mex and Min would leave the party, they have some cool logic behind their decision. They would leave the party if any player character died, because that would signal to these two kobolds, oh no, these guys are actually kind of weak. We're not safe with them. We got to go. It's fear that would motivate them to leave. They'd also leave as soon as the party meets Lord Aidron, because they betrayed this guy. They're kind of scared of some retribution. They would leave. But however, unlike the other kobolds, Mex and Min are all too happy to fight Sparkrender. They have no loyalty. In combat, Mex and Min will use the item they stole from Myla, which is her elemental cannon. It's this device that they hold between them and it redirects elemental energies throughout the battlefield. The Owlbear. This is a random encounter that the party could encounter in the woods, and it's an escaped owlbear from a kind of circus troupe, I believe, and it's got a whistle around its neck. Now, the way the party would get this owlbear to join their party is kind of a twofer, because they would have to, for one, solve the puzzle of going, we need to blow that whistle from around its neck. And two, they'd have to succeed a animal handling check. Although it is trained, the owlbear is an animal that is not used to being in captivity and has already escaped once. So it will leave the party if they ever go into a built-up area like Dragon's Rest or into the observatory itself. Also, it will leave the party whenever they travel by boat. It doesn't like doing that. In combat, as a battle companion, the owlbear uses the Gory Feast ability, where it grabs an injured character, like an injured enemy, and flings it into another injured enemy. It's ridiculous. Though this one isn't in the Stormwreck Isle PDF, this one's actually in the core rules, which is on sale for $1. Wow. Then we have the Harpy. I'm really interested in how the Harpy could join the party, what she would do, why she would leave. If you have any suggestions for that, oh my god, leave it in the comments down below. Surely you've heard about the Deck of Many Things, but have you heard the truth about the Deck of Many Things? Click this video to find out.